Shmuley Boteach, and Taped with Rabbi Doug is next.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. We are here in Washington, D.C. at the American Israel Public Affairs Committee Conference, AIPAC. We are going to hear President Barack Obama speak. There are a number of other speakers and congresspeople and senators who are here to join us. It's going to be a very interesting session. Stay with us here on Taped with Rabbi Doug at AIPAC in Washington.
Lee Rosenberg.
Since I came to know President Obama more than a decade ago, when he was a state senator from Illinois, I had the privilege of sharing many great moments with him in our hometown of Chicago, in Israel, and more recently in the White House. However, Mr. President, I'm mystified why I remain one of your few friends not to share any moments, great or otherwise, as your teammate on the basketball court. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored today to welcome to AIPAC, to the home of America's pro-Israel movement, the President of the United States, Barack Obama.
What a remarkable crowd. Thank you, Rosie, for your very kind introduction. And let me say that it is wonderful to look out and see so many great friends, including a very large delegation from Chicago. Solo, Green, thank you all. I want to thank the members of Congress who are joining you today, who do so much to sustain the bonds between the United States and Israel, including Dan Shapiro. No one has a greater stake in the outcome of events that are unfolding today than your generation. It's inspiring to see you devote your time and energy to help shape that future. Now, I'm not here to subject you to a long policy speech. I gave one on Thursday in which I said that the United States sees the historic changes sweeping the Middle East and North Africa as a moment of great challenge, but also a moment of opportunity for greater peace and security for the entire region, including the State of Israel. On Friday, I was joined at the White House by Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we reaffirmed that fundamental truth that has guided our presidents and prime ministers for more than 60 years. That even while we may at times disagree, as friends sometimes will, the bonds between the United States and Israel are unbreakable. And the commitment of the United States to the security of Israel is ironclad. A strong and secure Israel is in the national security interests of the United States not simply because we share strategic interests, although we do both seek a region where families and children can live free from the threat of violence. It's not simply because we face common dangers, although there can be no denying that terrorism and the spread of nuclear weapons are grave threats to both our nations. America's commitment to Israel's security flows from a deeper place, and that's the values we share. As two people who struggle to win our freedom against overwhelming odds, we understand that preserving the security for which our forefathers and foremothers fought must be the work of every generation. As two vibrant democracies, we recognize that the liberties and freedoms we cherish must be constantly nurtured. And as the nation that recognized the State of Israel moments after its independence, we have a profound commitment to its survival as a strong, secure homeland for the Jewish people. We also know how difficult that search for security can be, especially for a small nation like Israel, living in a very tough neighborhood. I've seen it firsthand. When I touched my hand against the western wall and placed my prayer between its ancient stones, I thought of all the centuries that the children of Israel had longed to return to their ancient homeland. Because we understand the challenges Israel faces, I and my administration have made the security of Israel a priority. It's why we've increased cooperation between our militaries to unprecedented levels. It's why we're making our most advanced technologies available to our Israeli allies. It's why, despite tough fiscal times, we've increased foreign military financing to record levels. And that includes additional support beyond regular military aid for the Iron Dome anti-rocket system. A powerful example of American-Israeli cooperation. A powerful example of American-Israeli cooperation which has already intercepted rockets from Gaza and helped save Israeli lives. So make no mistake, we will maintain Israel's qualitative military edge. You also see our commitment to our shared security and our determination to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Here in the United States, we've imposed the toughest sanctions ever on the Iranian regime. At the United Nations, under our leadership, we've secured the most comprehensive international sanctions on the regime, which have been joined by allies and partners around the world. Today, Iran is virtually cut off from large parts of the international financial system, and we're going to keep up the pressure. So let me be absolutely clear. We remain committed to preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Its illicit nuclear program is just one challenge that Iran poses. And just as the context has changed in the Middle East, so too has it been changing in the international community over the last several years. There's a reason why the Palestinians are pursuing their interests at the United Nations. They recognize that there is an impatience with the peace process, or the absence of one. Not just in the Arab world, in Latin America, in Asia, and in Europe. And that impatience is growing and it's already manifesting itself in capitals around the world. Those are the facts. I firmly believe, and I repeated on Thursday, that peace cannot be imposed on the parties to the conflict. No vote in the United Nations will ever create an independent Palestinian state, and the United States will stand up against efforts to single Israel out at the United Nations or in any international forum. Israel's legitimacy is not a matter for debate. That is my commitment. That is my pledge to all of you. Moreover, we know that peace demands a partner, which is why I said that Israel cannot be expected to negotiate with Palestinians who do not recognize its right to exist. Since questions have been raised, let me repeat what I actually said on Thursday, not what I was reported to have said. I said that the United States believes that negotiations should result in two states, with permanent Palestinian borders with Israel, Jordan, and Egypt, and permanent Israeli borders with Palestine. The borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps, so that secure and recognized borders are established for both states. The Palestinian people must have the right to govern themselves and reach their potential in a sovereign and contiguous state. As for security, every state has the right to self-defense. And Israel must be able to defend itself by itself against any threat. Provisions must also be robust enough to prevent a resurgence of terrorism, to stop the infiltration of weapons, and to provide effective border security. The full and phased withdrawal of Israeli military forces should be coordinated with the assumption of Palestinian security responsibility in a sovereign and non-militarized state. And the duration of this transition period must be agreed. And the effectiveness of security arrangements must be demonstrated. Now, that is what I said. That was my reference to the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps that received the lion's share of the attention, including just now. And since my position has been misrepresented several times, let me reaffirm what 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps means. By definition, it means that the parties themselves, Israelis and Palestinians, will negotiate a border that is different than the one that existed on June 4th, 1967. That's what mutually agreed upon swaps means. It is a well-known formula to all who have worked on this issue for a generation. It allows the parties themselves to account for the changes that have taken place over the last 44 years. It allows the parties themselves to take account of those changes, including the new demographic realities on the ground and the needs of both sides. The ultimate goal is two states for two people. Israel as a Jewish state and the homeland for the Jewish people, and the state of Palestine as the homeland for the Palestinian people. Each state enjoying self-determination, mutual recognition, and peace. This is not idealism, it is not naivete. It is a hard-headed recognition that a genuine peace is the only path that will ultimately provide for a peaceful Palestine as the homeland of the Palestinian people and a Jewish state of Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people. That is my goal, and I look forward to continuing to work with AIPAC to achieve that goal. Thank you, God bless you. God bless Israel, and God bless the United States of America.
welcome back here on Tape with Rabbi Doug. I'm here with my old friend Shmuley Boteach. Rabbi Boteach, how are you?
Well, thank God.
So Rabbi Shmuley, tell us, what is Rabbi Shmuley doing nowadays? Are you still doing TV regularly?
Rabbi Shmuley is trying to figure out what he's doing to make the world a better place. I do TV, I do radio,
Your regular columns?
I write. I do a lot of writing. I think the internet has provided such incredible opportunities to really propagate a message. And I love broadcasting, and being in front of a camera is gratifying to the ego. But I think there's still no substitute for the written word.
Absolutely true. I agree with you. Do you have any new book coming out? What is your latest?
I do. I have a book coming out. I don't write fiction.
Right.
I wish I knew how to write fiction.
When I say novel,
it's a lot
your
more.
next message in your next book.
Fiction is a lot more lucrative than nonfiction, so I better learn to pick it up since I have 9 children, thank God. But my next book is called 10 Conversations You Need to Have with Yourself. I just published a book that is very meaningful to me because it deals with the 7 essential Jewish values that are being healing to the world. It's called Renewal, a guide to the values for life. And trying very hard to get a National Institute of American Values up and running.
Now we are here among 10,000 people at the AIPAC Conference in Washington, D.C. Have you been to AIPAC before?
AIPAC many times.
Many times. So this is something that's a passion to you.
AIPAC is an incredible organization. Because it's a celebration of values. What AIPAC argues is that the United States and Israel share common values. That is their most deeply seated bond. What are those common values? A celebration of the infinite value of life. Societies based on love and justice, freedom, democracy, human autonomy, the ability of people to make their own decisions. And Israel is a personification of those values, the rights of women in the Middle East. And that's what I love about AIPAC. It's a celebration of values.
Well, it's a pleasure to see you once again, and I know you're very popular with my audience, and we're so glad to have you back on the show, and I hope we'll have you on when you're in Chicago again.
Thank you very much.
All right, stay with us here from AIPAC in Washington, D.C. on Tape with Rabbi Doug. We'll be back. Newt Geengich, here at AIPAC. Did you enjoy the conference?
Very much. It was terrific.
Thank you. Newt Geengich. Tzipi Livny.
But I came just to say thank you. You should know that when it comes to the gratitude that we all feel toward AIPAC and what you are doing in order to preserve the support of the United States to Israel, this is something which is highly appreciated by any and every Israeli. So it's bipartisan, there is no position on this in Israel. As the relations between Israel and the United States and the importance of these relations is something which is being understood in Israel, and it is bipartisan in Israel. And we face, well, never a dull moment in the Middle East, and we face all these new trends and challenges, and these are days of uncertainty. And we have an ongoing process of delegitimization of the state of Israel, and we have Iran and Hamas and Hezbollah, these extremists that are not accepting our existence in the region. And it is very important for us to understand in difficult times that the United States is an anchor, a solid anchor for us in an understanding that it's not only a matter of interest, but it's a matter of shared values. And when any president of the United States decides to support Israel's security, it's not about doing a favor to Israel, but it's a deep understanding that we all face the same challenges, and we need to stay together in order to confront these threats. And I want you to understand that for us, the relations with the United States, it's not something that means only to us. Because the strength of Israel and our deterrence comes not only from Tzahal, from our soldiers, our children, the most moral soldiers in the world, and Goldstone can say whatever he wants. But it's also this deterrence is also because these extremists, when they are watching Israel, they know that Israel is not alone and the United States is standing with Israel. And I hope that when the United States and when any American is looking at Israel, they see not only a state in the Middle East, but also a state that shares the same values with the United States of America, because we have this clash of civilizations in the region, and it's now not only between states and organizations, but also within societies. And we need to say clearly that Israel, by definition, is part of the free world. We are not going to change our position. It's not a matter of this or other coalition in Israel. It's by definition the nature of the state of Israel. This is what we are. And in a way, when it comes to, tests that we all face, as when we all faced the horrific September 11, and there were those that wept with you, and there were those that danced in the streets also when the United States did what was so necessary, this killing Bin Laden. There were those that celebrated with you, and there were those that condemned this necessary killing that was part of the duty and responsibility of the free world to do. So I think that the last thing that I want to share with you is not just to stick together or to stand against those that are against us, but we need also to define what we stand for. And in order to do so, we need to redefine to us what Israel is: homeland of the Jewish people, a secure, a democracy, when these two values of Israel are living in harmony, not in contradiction, a secure state, living in peace, hopefully, in the Middle East. So I want to tell you today that according to our values, achieving peace with our neighbors, with the Palestinians, is not a favor to the United States, but it is something that we need to achieve in order to have the values of Israel as a Jewish and democratic state living in harmony. So I'm here today, this week, as I said, I just came to say thank you for what you are doing. I know that together we can stand not just confronting our enemies, but also standing and working together in order to translate the idea of peace in the Middle East to something which is realistic. And I know that these young people that I see here are proud of the state of Israel, and I want young generation, young Jewish people in the Jewish communities here, as Israel is there, to be proud of Israel as their parents were when the state of Israel was established.
Tzipi Livny. We are here at the Washington Convention Center, and a group of students from Chicago, and I'm going to ask you to say your names each one at a time.
Zach Kramer. Jacob Bass. Mitch Cooper. Tomer David Quintus.
Okay, so tell me, guys, why did you guys come here? You're Idacron students. Why are you here at AIPAC, and why did you guys come to Washington right now?
We just want to learn more about the situation and be confident when we're confronting these issues and having to debate them when we go off to college and we're faced with people who are ignorant of the situation.
Okay, very good. So tell me, did somebody encourage you all to come as a group together? Because there are older students here from Idacron who came with different groups of people. Did you guys all decide together? How did it come about that you guys actually decided to do this?
So my parents are huge AIPAC supporters, and they've wanted me to go for a while. So they said, come with us and you can bring a couple of your friends you think would be interested. So I brought these guys over here because we're all really big into Israel advocacy and just in general politics and really understanding the situation and what's going on in the world in general. So we decided that we would all come here as a group, and we're staying here together in a hotel, and it's pretty awe-inspiring, is that a word?
Awe-inspiring is good,
awe-inspiring, yeah. It's pretty awe-inspiring, like the whole convention and everything that's going on here.
Very good. Well, listen, guys, I happen to know all of you, and I'm very proud of you all for being here, and thanks for being on the show, and hope that you all make an impact on Israel and the United States with your attendance here at AIPAC.
Thank you, Rabbi.
I'm not Marty Levinson, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
I'm here at AIPAC with our old friend Adam Fishman, who's here from Israel, former Chicagoan, and he is the executive director now of American Friends of Likud. The Likud party in Israel, of course, is a very major political party. And Adam, tell me what's going on with Likud nowadays, with all the split-offs and changes of parties of people. What's happening with Likud?
Well, first let me tell you that American Friends of Likud is an American educational organization, not officially tied to Likud in the political sense, but I can tell you that today the coalition is stronger than people actually would think. And after the President and the Prime Minister's meeting last week and the President's speech here at the AIPAC conference, and we're looking forward to the Prime Minister's speech here tonight, I think there's going to be a tremendous strengthening of his position within Israel, and certainly I can tell you that the 10,000 people here at AIPAC and the strength that they provide and support that they give to Israel only provides more strength for the Prime Minister, for his party, and for a greater, stronger Israel, which is exactly what American Friends of Likud is about, trying to educate those here in America to understand where the leadership of Israel is coming from, and I think that this is a phenomenal forum to help us do that.
Well, it's amazing how among 10,000 people, we have both run into so many Chicagoans here and so many people from Israel that we know, and I wish you much success, and thanks so much, and great to see you.
Thanks, Rabbi Doug. Good to see you, too.
Hi, I'm Congressman Robert Dold. I'm here at Policy Conference in Washington, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug. I want to thank you for taking the time to come out to Policy Conference, first and foremost. There's a difference between a vote and a voice. And what I promised all of you was that I won't just be a vote for Israel, that I will use my time on the floor, that I'll use my influence while in Congress to lead on this issue and to be a voice for the U.S.-Israel relationship. It is absolutely critical.
Well, that's it for part one here at the Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. at the AIPAC Conference 2011. Remember to check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also see our show on the web, or if you want to email us, info@tvrabbi.com. President Obama's been with us. Coming up is going to be Prime Minister Netanyahu on our second episode. Don't miss it. Stay with us here each week on Tape with Rabbi Doug. Shalom, everyone.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.